take notes, if you just look at your neighbor very quickly and tell him, anointed in a dark place.
Anointed in a dark place, my Lord.
Oh, Shabbat.
Wow. Anointed in a dark place. Anointed in a dark place. It's indicative for us to notice and to appreciate, number one, whenever we look at God, whenever we see God, whenever our God, because he is so awesome, he is an awesome God. We must remember that. That no matter what's going on, no matter what we feel, no matter how it looks, God is yet in control. I need you to celebrate the power of he is still God. Some people don't like the fact because you're functioning and you're still able to stand. After all you've been through and you still have your mind, some people can't believe that you're still standing. Because God is so awesome. You ought to just tap about 3 people and say, God is awesome. 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 It's important now that when we look at this, you must appreciate whatever. We must appreciate how our God is still in control. I looked at this, I began to tarry with it. I began to speak, and as God began to use it and say, well, son, remind them. He said, tell them, first of all, I am their God. He said, remind them that I am their God. Now, through this place, after this prophetic type word, because this whole setting is prophetic. It's not even scheduled. It wasn't on your schedule, and bless God, it sure wasn't on mine.
Yes.
But he told me to tell you, he said, remind them that it is prophetic. So because of that, when you get a prophetic mandate, the enemy, number one, is blowed away. One thing about enemy territory and enemy strategy, he always has to set up things before he can attack you. But when God comes and shifts, see, that's why it makes it more exciting, because when the enemy is planning one thing, because he likes to plan, as he hear you speak it, he then plans. But God never tells us, he just does. That's one reason why we got to be able to walk in his footsteps, the steps of a good man. Good man in the Hebraic or Hebrew means Geba. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way, which means where I've placed you at this step, can I find delight right there? Many times we brag about how good we've been, but right now we may have failed. Education teaches it like this: you can fail English, but you pass science, you pass math, and you pass social studies, and because you had an F in English, you technically would probably get a C average overall, because they would average all the grades and make you be able to pass. Well, with God, it doesn't happen like that. If you failed English, or if you failed in praise, if you failed with the last scenario, God's going to hold you right there. That's what he said, and he delighteth in his way. Can I find delight in the place where you swore you would never go forward? Anybody besides me ever felt like dying, felt like saying, God, I don't care? Now, please, can we just be real? Now, I know we don't want to tell that side, because nobody really tells us that side of how you told us the side you're bragging about when you had stepped in the altar and the ball. Well, that's fine, but there's been some times you didn't know your right hand from your left hand. And you didn't care who knew you didn't know. I wish I had some help. I know sometimes you felt like going cuckoo and crazy. You didn't feel like entering into his gates with thanksgiving in your heart. And as powerful as your worship leader might be, there's some service when he said, come on, clap your hands. You were angry and weren't trying to clap nothing. So because of that, you occupied your hands. You even got somebody's baby that's not even yours that smell like poo-poo, and you held the baby so you wouldn't have to clap your hands. Anybody else besides me? There's been some days you said, Lord, how long? Here now, if you notice this text, if you go back with me, just divert just for a few minutes, and I'll go back to the right direction in a minute, because I feel him shifting me again, Bishop. So in the text here in Habakkuk now, the Bible said he's a prophet of the Lord. He is a prophet. One thing about prophets, whenever you have a prophet around you, amongst you, and your first, let me start here, your first prophet is your leader. Don't you ever let nobody come in and prophesy to you, and you get more excited than you are hearing from your own people's mouth. Your first authorized prophet is the mouth of your leader. I wish I had some help here. The Bible said Habakkuk now had a burden, because the Bible says Habakkuk saw and began to cry out. He began to cry out because of the violence. He began to cry and he began to feel the pain of what's going on around him. Anybody besides me tired of seeing other ministries that you know is not doing the purpose and the will of God, but seem like they're prospering more than you, more than your house, more. You're saying, Lord, I'm trying, Lord, but I almost would say, God, how can this be? So now Habakkuk cried out because of the violence. He began to be upset because it seemed like God was allowing contention and strife to be able to be freelanced. People don't mind arguing over stupid stuff. If you're like me, I ain't got time for high maintenance argumentative people. I'm cutting those kind of people off because they stress your mind. They make you miss your purpose and your destiny. While you're over here being distracted by the argument, the enemy is over here eating your grapes. So that's why you can't let the enemy take your attention off the purpose. Keep your eyes set on the prize and don't let nobody distract you no more. Look at somebody, say, no more distractions. So now notice what happens. In what's a change with Habakkuk. Habakkuk now began to speak. By God, what's this? He says, how long must I cry? And it seems like you won't hear. How long must I go through this, that, and the other? And you won't even answer. Anybody ever prayed and got no answer? You prayed and you know you prayed and you got nothing. You can do almost better if you had Miss Cleo call or somebody call and just give me a word. Is there a word from the Lord? But seem like there's nothing in response to what you're asking for. Seem like when you're going through the worst time of your own life, somebody else wants a word from you. Anybody besides me, you didn't feel like prophesying to nobody. Call somebody else. Right now, I ain't got no word. I felt like playing AT&T games and all circuits are busy. I ain't got time to keep talking to you. I don't feel like being bothered. Anybody besides me? So now Habakkuk cried and said, Lord, how long must I cry? Now, hold on one second. I'm almost ready. And thou wilt not hear. Man, you play till I almost jump out my shoes. Don't hit it yet. I'm almost ready. He says, now I'm going to work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. Watch this, Zion. I'm getting ready to work something. Now watch what he says. I'm going to work a work. Now what is that, young? It simply means that's already working. I'm going to work it. I'm going to make the work now. I know it doesn't sound like proper English, but this is my class, so can I give you what I hear? I'm going to make the work. So anything that has not been working properly, you ought not get distracted and get upset and be argumentative to that anymore. Just start telling the work. I dare you to use your prophetic tongue and command it to work. Have you ever looked at something and commanded it to work? I know we got parents now that don't whip behind no more, but can we go back to the old day when mama said get up, you got up, and if she said it the right tone, you know to get up quick. Somebody just say, I want you to get it with the attitude. Come on, say work the work. Y'all ain't said it with an attitude yet. Say it like somebody just slapped your mother. Come on, say work the work. You're making the work now, which means you're not going to work it. You're going to let the work it. You're not going to stress over it. You're going to keep praising. Because if I command it to move, I can't be shocked when it starts to move. Come on, the Bible puts it like this. He said, if you got the faith or the power to believe it, he said, when you command the mountain to be thou removed, and the mountain start moving, you can't be excited and shocked. You know, I've been expecting that. Come on, say, work the Lord.